everyone. I don't even know what date it is. It's Tuesday. Welcome to our live action hour. I am just going to introduce myself while people hop on. So my name is Alex Polise and soon to be changing my last name. I recently got engaged like a month ago and planning our wedding in 3 months. And so I'm just going to say that power hours and power pockets of time have been my lifesaver when it has come to this business the last 30 days. And I know going into that. So what I absolutely love to do when I start my power hour, my action hour, whatever you prefer to call it, two things to prep. So first, put my phone on DND or airplane mode. If you have iPhone, DND, just silent so you don't get any random notifications and it doesn't mess up your train of thought. And the second thing I love to do when I'm in my power hour is if you use Google Chrome, there's actually a Google Chrome extension, if you don't know about this, where you're able to use the Facebook feed eradicator. And what it does is it gets rid of your entire Facebook feed. So you can still check notifications, answer messages, check into your challenge groups and things like that, but you will not get bombarded with scrolling, or I guess get sidetracked with scrolling through your timeline, and it helps a ton with just being focused. So what we're gonna start with the first 12 minutes of our action hour, you guys. Expanding our network. So this is huge. When it comes to finding people, knowing who to reach out to, knowing who to invite, one of the things that I love to do is I love to make sure that I'm expanding my network. I don't like to assume that people are always going to find me. And so what I do is I go to my social media app of choice. I love Instagram. If you love Facebook, this would be the same, but go to Instagram and go through a friend of a friend of a friend, like get really deep into that rabbit hole of finding someone who you have no idea who they are, but there's some random connection to you. And just go through the people that they are either following or following them. And what I do is I engage with those profiles. I like photos, I comment on them, I hit the follow button, especially if it's a private profile. That puts the ball in their court. They can accept it, they can deny it, whatever happens, happens. But I want to make sure that I'm expanding my network and getting my Instagram handle into their notifications so they can come check me out. So for the next now 10 minutes, we're going to do that. So work on expanding your network, following accounts, engaging with other profiles. Ready, set, go. For those of you who are potentially just hopping on, we are working for the next 6 minutes on expanding our network. So going and finding other accounts like ours, engaging with them, following them, etc. All right, ladies and gents, awesome work. What we are going to do next for the next 13 minutes is going to be to reach out to new follows and Instagram story watchers. How I envision my social media platform is that anyone who comes to that is my business. And so just like when someone walks into Target, when someone walks into Bed Bath & Beyond, whatever it may be, they are there to potentially become a client and to purchase something, even if the first time they're just walking around and have no idea what they actually want. So what I usually do is with everyone who is watching my Instagram stories, again, liking, commenting, following, I go and I just send a message along the lines of like, hey, I just wanted to reach out. I love getting to know the new ladies who are just interested in making the world a better place. If you ever have any questions about what I do, or if you want more information on a boot camp that I have coming up, I would love to get you the information. I'm just a message away. So really simple, just a, hey, I see you're in my store, or I see you're here. If you have any questions, I would love to get, break that ice and like, let's start to talk. And so that is what I want you guys to do for the next 13 minutes. So until about 1:25 Eastern. Yeah, I'm off in a minute, but what someone asked the question, and it was a great question, how do you do this if potentially, you don't have a ton of new followers? That's when I want you guys to go back to what we were just doing with expanding your network, getting your name in other people's profiles, following, liking, commenting. A lot of what we do as coaches, we can never assume that someone is going to find us magically. We need to go out and we need to do that footwork ourselves. So if you get through in 5 minutes, you've reached out to all of your new follows, everyone new who's watching your stories, go back and continue working on expanding your network. So the way I set up my power hours is kind of like a funnel. So we start with the task that potentially will get us moving through the rest of the phases. And that way, if you ever reach the point where you're like, well, I've already reached out to everyone, or I don't know where to go from here, just bump back a phase. So that way you're going to continue to do the things that are going to help you get to that client or that coach down at the very bottom of your funnel. So till 1:25, go reach out to new people. What we are doing right now for anyone just hopping on is working on reaching out to new follows on Instagram and people watching your Instagram stories, liking your photos, etc. Just sending them an invite or just a hey, I see you, in my business storefront. Let me know if there's anything you have questions on or anything that I can answer for you. I'd love to get to connect. Kind of a feel for that. Becca, for the next 3 minutes, we are just wrapping up, reaching out to new people following our Instagram, liking, maybe new people watching our stories, things like that. So we're about to hop over to the next thing. Awesome, guys. As you start to wrap up that last conversation that you are starting, I want to show you. So I'm using the Beachbody tracker. Love this thing. And with what we've already done in 25 minutes, crossed off this box, and now we're moving on to following up. Someone also asked a great question that I thought I would just address. So they asked, when you're expanding your network like that, how do you make sure that you don't, exceed your follow limit, especially on Instagram and things like that? And so what I do, this is just obviously one power hour that I do, but what I work in throughout the week is that instead of working on expanding my network, I would go to Instagram. And I would go and see who has followed me back or who can I go, and maybe they've accepted my follow request. So now I can go and engage with them. So you can go to your following. I don't know, this is actually a new feature and it's amazing, and you're not gonna be able to probably see my phone, but you can click, once you go to your following, you can click the little arrows here, and you can sort it by who you followed latest. So I don't like to just go follow people to unfollow people, but this can let me know who accepted my follow request, and now I can go engage with them. I can go see if they're my person. I can go see if I want to strike up a conversation, and engage with them that way. So that is a huge way for how I keep it down. And I can also then maybe find someone who maybe I missed through the weeds of, okay, they followed me. Maybe I need to go now reach out to them because now they're following me. So that helps me a ton. What we are going to be doing next for 10 minutes. And as you guys will see, like, we're not doing a ton of stuff on posting on social media and things like that, because I know that's probably stuff you guys are learning on your own. The meat and the potatoes of this business are conversations, finding new people, reaching out, things like that. So that's really what this is focused on. But for 10 minutes, the proof is in the follow-up, you guys. Follow-ups are huge. I want you to spend 10 minutes going through and re-sparking old conversations, following up with people who are interested, maybe in August or July or June. See if this is the month for them. For some of us, maybe we literally just got promo codes emailed to us. Maybe that will help. Don't second guess yourself. Don't get in your head. Every conversation comes to an end. When I am talking with my absolute best friends in the entire world, there comes a point in our texting conversation where it just ends, or someone likes it and we're done with the conversation. Don't hesitate to re-spark those conversations, and just see what those people are up to. Great opportunity for you guys to ask, what did they do over Labor Day? Or if you see what they did over Labor Day, go message them about that. If you're in the United States, if you're in Canada, ask how their weekend was. UK, things like that. Great opportunity on Monday and Tuesday to ask, hey, what did you do this weekend? So we will do that until 1:35. For those who might be just hopping on, we're spending the next 6 minutes following up, resparking old conversations, people who are maybe interested in August, September, or we're in September, August, July, going backwards, June. Every conversation comes to a point when, maybe someone doesn't respond. So reach out, follow out, ask how they're doing. Reach out, follow up, and go from there for the next 5 minutes. And if you get to the point where you followed up with all of the people that you've already had conversations with, maybe because it's maybe your first week of coaching, first couple of days, again, go back through one of those other funnels that we were doing. So reaching out to new people that are following you. If you get to the end of that list, then go back and continue to work on expanding your account, finding new people to reach out to. All right, guys, as we are wrapping up the end of reaching out, following up, resparking old conversations, for the next 10 minutes, what we are going to work on is reaching out to our current clients, current coaches, people that we already have in our network. So often we focus on, finding new people or, I got to hit Success Club this month. Never, ever forget the people who have already entrusted their journey with you. Make sure that you are still spending time with them, still investing in them, making sure where they're at, seeing if there's ways you can help them. Pumpkin Spice just launched. See if that's something that maybe they're interested in, things like that. So go ahead and go reach out to current clients, coaches for the next 10 minutes. And again, if you get to the end where you're like, okay, I've reached out to all of my people. Now what do I do? Go back and do some more follow-ups, reach out to people who are following you for the first time, Instagram story watchers, things like that, expand your network. Awesome. So for anyone who might be hopping on, we are in the middle of working towards reaching out to current clients, coaches, seeing how they're doing with their fitness journey. We're on, if they started on July 29th, we're on day, 37 of Morning Meltdown? I can't even believe we're that far. So see how they're doing, see if they are still intact with that going through or maybe they just need someone to wake them up in the morning and be like, all right, let's do this accountability together. Always, always, always make sure that you are still reaching out to your clients and coaches. Sometimes they might not respond because they're embarrassed that they've fallen off the wagon. Sometimes they're just down on themselves. Maybe it's just a busy season with going back to school. So even if they didn't respond to maybe the last message you sent them or the last couple of messages, still continue to reach out because you are their coach and they signed up with you for a reason, and never, ever, ever forget that they need you. Carrie asked a great question that yes, should we follow back everyone who follows us as long as our following is a higher number than who we are following? So as long as you have, you want to kind of make sure you're not having, following 3,000 people and you have 500 people following you. And the reason for that is basically, if you go to an account like Target or something like that, it's a business account. And so you want to make sure that you're spending your time following, engaging with people who need your time. And so a lot of that potentially, like, as the people you're following, that goes up. Maybe look at who you're following. Are you following a bunch of coaches? Are you following a bunch of people who aren't really benefiting your business? And when I say that, I mean people, as coaches, we need to be impacting the people who need us, who aren't potentially clients yet, who aren't potentially coaches yet, who need, in our minds, Beachbody in their life, right? And so when we are continually following coaches and like top 10 people, that's amazing. But like, I don't need a bunch of people following me, or, my coach doesn't need me commenting on all of her pictures when I could spend that time commenting on someone else's. So to answer your exact question, because I just kind of went off on a tangent, I think it's really up to you. If you see that person, if you feel like you can connect with them and you feel like, okay, this person just followed me and, I think I could see them on my team. I think I could see us hanging out, at Summit, things like that. I say you follow them and continue to pursue that relationship and that friendship. If they follow you and you're like, you go to their profile and maybe they just don't look like potentially your avatar, your brand, your person, that's going to be something that you can only make that decision. And sometimes it might be a no, and sometimes it might be, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot and see what goes. So I hope that helps answer your question, Carrie. Awesome, guys. So one more minute as you're wrapping up, reaching out to current clients and coaches. This is that's my follow-up list. So I just went through and reached out to either my current clients, kind of made a list of the people I was reaching out to so I can keep that. So I always have pen and paper just flying everywhere. But what we're going to move on to next, and this is actually probably the next 3 tasks, we only have 3 left, are 3 of my favorites because I am very OCD and I love keeping things organized, or at least in my head organized. So for 10 minutes, what we are going to do is make sure that we are responding to every single message in our inbox, every single comment that we might have on a post, cleaning out basically our inboxes, our emails, Instagram, Facebook Messenger. Now, when I was full-time as a third-party administrator working on 401k compliance, I could not stand having notifications on my phone. Like I would see that I would have emails and things like that, and it would drive me bonkers. So what I had to train myself to do is to literally look at, okay, I'm going to wake up in the morning, I'm going to do my power hour, and I'm going to crush answer every single message that's in every single inbox that I have. And then I'm going to let, for the rest of the day, those red dots creep all the way up and know that at the end of the night before I go to bed, I will answer them all at that time again. Now, obviously, I have message preview, so I can preview if it's an emergency or anything from a coach like that that might need me more urgently. But if it's just someone, responding to a reach out or something like that, that can wait until the end of the day. And so having that mentality that I'm going to work, these hours are my kind of respond hours, that really helped me not feel so overwhelmed like I was on my phone 24/7 all the time, because when you first start out, that's really what it feels like. So maybe set those mental hours for yourself in your head that, all right, when I am waking up in the morning, I'm going to clear all my notifications. And then before I go to bed, I'm going to clear all my notifications. And that's just my personality. I am someone who has like 3 emails in my inbox. My fiance, on the other hand, has like 3,000. I know we're all totally different, but regardless, you never want, your potential dream client, your potential emerald to help you get to diamonds, or whoever it may be, the person who literally needs you the most, and they're on that moment where they're like, okay, this is like my last chance, I don't know what else to do. You never want their message to go unanswered in your inbox. So until 1:55, we are going to go ahead and do that, clean out those inboxes and answer all comments on all of your social media posts. It's social media for a reason. And then we just have 2 small tasks left, and then we'll be done.
For those of you who may be just hopping on here as we are getting close to wrapping up, we are working on just clearing out our inboxes, responding to all messages, whether it's an email, Instagram, Facebook, anything like that. And in the meantime, before we wrap up, if you guys do have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask them. I am a firm believer that we are stronger together, and when we brainstorm together, that is when we make some real magic happen. But seriously, so 4 more minutes with this task, and then we have 2 more and we'll be done. All right, guys, we have 6 minutes left. If you are filling in a tracker, the awesome thing about this one is I now just have to post on social media, do some Instagram stories, and read my personal development, which I've already done for the day. So what we're going to work on next are these 2 boxes right here. If this is the Beachbody Success Club tracker, which is in our Coach Online office. But for the next
3 minutes, what I want you to do is to check into your team page, check into your boot camps, push groups, any group that you have running right now. It is time for you to go check into that and be active and be present. So often that stuff gets pushed to the back burner, or, we even forget to maybe post our sweaty selfie in our accountability group, but that it still needs to be on our list. While you're at it, go shout someone out in that group and, just hype it up, get it really excited. One of the best pieces of advice or best things that I've heard over my time as a coach is that we should want more notifications coming from our challenge groups, our accountability groups, our push groups, our team pages than we have on social media. And I think that that's a really cool thing, because that, we can post something inspirational, but when we are actually able to work with that person and help them get those results and cheering them on and watching them show up every day, we just put that talk behind that action. So that's really cool to think about. So go blow up your not your social media, sorry, your accountability groups for the next 3 minutes. And we have one more task. Awesome, guys. Hopefully you got in at least a couple of groups, maybe one or two. And for the absolute last task that I want us to do, again, organization, ADHD, all of that stuff is all things that I work with every day. So the last task is to simply write a brain dump of all of the things that you want to accomplish, either for the rest of your day, maybe if you get to work a little bit more before you go to bed tonight, or for tomorrow, or potentially the days to come. I do this in the notes on my phone. That way I never have to have a specific pen or paper with me, because I think of these things literally while I'm driving or watching TV at night. And so I keep a running list going of all the things I need to do. And it is so specific as to follow up with Molly, reach out to Susie and see if she still wanted to join us for September, create this graphic for this group, whatever that may be. Don't hesitate to write it on there, because so often things seem overwhelming with coaching because we have all of this stuff going on up here. We have the notifications popping up here. So again, going back to, I'm going to empty my inboxes and my notifications, 2 times a day at these hours. And then even furthermore, I have everything that I need to do. Even if I can't get to it right now, I just wrote it down on the list so I can come back to it. So write those brain dumps and then we are good to go. And you guys just crush an hour of work. And thank you so much for hopping on with me. All right, ladies and gents, that is the end of our action hour. And hopefully, if you are using a tracker, like I said, the only things hopefully that you still need to do for the rest of your day in order to complete all of your tasks are to post on social media, do a couple of Instagram stories, and definitely read that personal development. Personal development is something that I always personally used to skip. So I would put a timer on my phone to literally read for 10 minutes a day. I highly recommend doing it because no matter where you are in the business, it is always something that we need to focus on, and by putting ourselves first, getting our mental state of mind correct, and working from there. So again, thank you so much for hopping on, and I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day. Bye.